Today on Face the Nation, are we heading to war with Iran?
This week, targeting Iran.
The Bush administration gets tough with Iran.
How close is Iran to the bomb?
Is a clinical strike against Iranian facilities the next step?
Are we on the path to war?
We will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. We will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
What to do about Iran on Face the Nation.
The rhetoric coming from Washington, from top Bush administration officials, seems to be heating up. Is Iran, Dr. Alberti, building a nuclear bomb?
We're not talking about Iran today having a nuclear weapon. Even if Iran were to be working on nuclear weapon, according to John Negroponte and Mike McConnell, they at least a few years away.
We need to be more aggressive. We don't need to talk softly. We need to act boldly because time is not on our side.
At this stage, we need to continue to work through creative diplomacy. We have the time, because I don't see any other solution, Wolf, except through diplomacy and inspection.
Well, it is probably useful for Iran to believe that this administration will stop at nothing to keep it from getting a nuclear weapon.
To build confidence, you will not be able to do that through just exchanging rhetoric. You need to go and create the condition to go to the negotiating table. My fear that if we continue to escalate from both sides, that we will end up into a precipice. We will end up into an abyss. You know, as I said, the Middle East right now is in a total mess, to say the least, and we cannot add fuel to the fire.
Doesn't it make sense that you want Iran to believe that if they keep this up, they might be the subject of a devastating military strike of the kind that only the United States of America can mount? I would think so.
I believe we still have ample time for diplomacy, and B, I believe that force is in no way a solution to the problem. This is an issue of security and trust. You can only resolve that through negotiation. We can talk about use of force as and when we exhausted diplomacy, as and when we have no other alternative, as and when we think that this is the best option. But we are far, far away from that stage. And I would hope that we should continue to stop spinning and hyping the Iranian issue, because that's an issue that could have major conflagration into not only regionally but globally.
It seems that the first thing this president does is hype the rhetoric. He talked about World War III. I thought that was quite irresponsible.
This is not President Bush is not the problem here. It's the Iranian regime and their rhetoric and their actions.
The most heated rhetoric actually has been coming from the Iranian leaders and rhetoric like that.
Yes, it's going to ignite rhetoric on the other side. And I've been briefed by the Pentagon that say if there were to be a conflagration with Iran, which we all hope to avoid, it would be generations of jihad right here on our shores. We don't want to go that way. So let's calm down the rhetoric.
It seems to me when you have Democrats running around wringing their hands about alleged saber rattling that it makes them look terribly weak, and in the end it makes, if you're the head of Iran, you think, well, we want those people in charge.
This hot rhetoric plays right into the hands of the fanatics in Iran. They like to be called an evil empire. These fanatics love to have that weapon in their hands that the West is beating up on them and threatening them. So we should speak more softly, carry a big stick, as Teddy Roosevelt said.
But let's also not be coy and not be the least bit reticent to say that it would be unacceptable, totally unacceptable, to ever allow Iran to have nuclear weaponry, given the language, the tone, and the direction of this regime.
This is a regime that's up to no good, and we need to stand up to them. And I think we need to be bolder, not quieter.
Just take a deep breath and let's ratchet down the rhetoric. It just hurts us.
Are we heading toward World War III? I think that's what people want to hear. I mean, they want to know. That's what they want to know the answer to here.
President Bush has been speaking in almost apocalyptic terms about all of this.
Well, I think the president is dead right that the Iranian president has told the world that he desires to destroy the state of Israel. I don't think they're making any bones about they're trying to develop a nuclear weapon program.
Do you believe there is a clandestine, secret nuclear weapons program right now underway in Iran?
We haven't seen any concrete evidence to that effect, Wolf. We haven't received any information that there is a parallel ongoing active nuclear weapon program.
They're clearly going down the uranium enrichment road that would lead to weapons material, not peaceful nuclear power.
I have not received any information that there is a concrete active nuclear weapon program going on right now. And I think if you hear carefully what is being said about Iran, that Iran we suspect that Iran might have the intention, but I don't think I have seen anybody saying Iran today is working actively on a weapon program.
They are obviously on the path to developing those nuclear weapons.
We have information that there has been maybe some studies about possible weaponization, but we are looking into these alleged studies with Iran right now. And that's why we have said that we cannot give Iran a pass right now, because there is still a lot of question mark. But have we seen Iran having the nuclear material that can readily be used into a weapon? No. Have we seen an active weaponization program? No. So there is a concern, but there is also time to clarify these concerns.
Look, I'm not going to discuss tactics that could be used. But I would say, from my knowledge of warfare and this situation, you don't have to take out all the facilities, okay?
Everybody's talking about other stations. Is war inevitable with Iran?
And if the sanctions don't work, military operations against Iran, I believe, will be inevitable.
We haven't even finished up the Iraq war. We haven't even gotten out of Iraq. Now we're talking about Iran.
We're involved right now in 2 Muslim countries, and for us to kind of casually talk about moving against a third one, it seems to me is playing right into the hands of the terrorists and the fanatics.
What it does is it pulls the people of Iran together behind Ahmadinejad, which we don't want to do.
Last week, Senator Joe Biden was on this program. He said it's folly to even discuss military action. Take a look.
If anybody thinks you're going to be able to stop Iran because you're going to invade them or they're going to instigate an air war with them, they're crazy. All that will do was solidify every single Iranian to be united in their opposition to us and to the West.
Does he have a point?
I think he has a point in that you ought to be very careful about what kind of rhetoric you use and what kind of threats you make, because if you make threats, you have to make sure that you carry them out. But having said that, we cannot allow the Iranians to have nuclear weapons because they are dedicated to the extinction of the State of Israel. They are exporting explosive devices into Iraq as we speak that are killing Americans.
I very much concerned about confrontation, building confrontation, Wolf, because that would lead absolutely to a disaster. I see no military solution. The only durable solution is through negotiation and inspection.
How far would you be willing to go, Governor, in stopping Iran from building a nuclear bomb?
Whatever it takes. We cannot allow Iran to have nuclear capacity. As simple as that. Whatever it takes to make sure they can't do it.
Spell out whatever it takes.
That would mean just what it says. Whatever it takes. But again, whatever action.
This is what the Vice President, Dick Cheney, said last Sunday. Listen to this.
The Iranian regime needs to know that if it stays on its present course, the international community is prepared to impose serious consequences. The United States joins other nations in sending a clear message. We will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
Do you think the president ought to tell Vice President Cheney to kind of tone down what he's been saying here?
Well, lots of luck.